From Zlatan slapping a guy to the craziest head game in history, these are the craziest red cards that will blow your mind. And first, during the 2026 World Cup match between Turkey and Paraguay, Miguel Almiron covered his mouth while exchanging words with Turkey's Mert Mulder. But as soon as the defender brought his act to the ref's attention, this happened.
Number 10, Paraguay, cover his mouth. Decision is red card.
So there is the verdict. It is a red card for Almiron, allowed to do.
This made him the first ever player to be sent off under FIFA's new Vinicius law. And honestly, it's absurd that he got a red card for trying to cover bad breath. But as wild as that was, it wasn't even the craziest red at the 2026 World Cup.
South Africa are down to 9. Mexico, maybe with an opening here.
While losing 2-0 in the opening match of the 2026 World Cup, a frustrated Themba Zwane smacked the hell out of Alvarado for trying to stop him from doing his job.
Early and nearly at the beginning of the second half. Made the hole even deeper. He's up polished. Cutting on the pack. A lot of people thought he might make the starting lineup. Alvarado down. There you see Alvarado getting run into by Zwane. I think the play here against Reyes and that's Alvarado. This could get worse for South Africa. South Africa reduced it.
But what makes this 10 times funnier is his reaction after the ref said red card.
He runs into Alvarado there. Look like a fun.
South Africa are down to 9.
Run here.
Bro was shocked that he was being penalized for attacking someone. Maybe it's something he's not used to back home. But at least Zwane lasted into the second half. The next legend got himself sent off after just 38 seconds.
That is staggering.
Steven Gerrard was brought in to try to win the game for Liverpool, but instead of stamping his authority on the match, he stamped on Herrera's legs.
Liverpool need re-inspiring. They have the man.
And Steven Gerrard, there's a tackle that will get things going. That's one of the reasons he's in, his aggression.
Now Gerrard was caught by Herrera. Gerrard has been sent off. That is staggering. That is staggering.
Now, seeing red for a rough tackle is normal, but getting sent off for the most childish reason imaginable is downright embarrassing.
Yourself on the pitch as believing you were a lion. Is that right?
I am a lion.
You are a lion.
For me, I like a striker that makes the difference. Lukaku is strong, Aguero is good.
You didn't say yourself. I was expecting you to say me.
Lions, they don't compare themselves with humans.
While trying to mark Zlatan Ibrahimovic, Michael Petrasso made the mistake of stepping on his foot and found out that you don't step on the lion's tail and not get bitten.
Goes down quickly by Raheem Edwards. Something happening here off the ball between Zlatan Ibrahimovic.
Except this isn't the jungle, resulting in a rather disappointing red card for Ibrahimovic. And if a stamp on Zlatan's foot earns the offender a slap, just imagine what a guy shushing his own captain ends up getting. During a match between Galatasaray and Giresunspor, Macau wasn't happy with the fact that his teammate shushed him, but instead of letting things slide, he decided to do this. Damn, even the guys at the UFC don't attack their teammates like that. And if teammates can fight each other like that mid-match, you better believe opponents will do far stranger things to stop a counterattack. Seeing that he couldn't keep up with Croatia's counterattack, Alex Song pulled out one of the most bizarre ways to try to stop Mandzukic. Like, what was bro thinking? Did he assume Mandzukic was a thief trying to run away with his money? I guess we'll never find out. But now that we're entering our top 30, you might want to refill your drink, because the referees in this next stretch are about as competent as a coin flip. I'm talking about a ref who somehow handed out 3 yellow cards to the same player, and another who got himself banned for 6 months after kicking a player on live TV. But before we get to those, 2 best friends are about to learn the hard way that VAR doesn't understand jokes. In a game between Orlando City and New York Red Bulls, a playful moment between friends turned into one of the craziest VAR decisions ever. Kaká playfully grabbed his former teammate and friend Colin. But because they were opponents, VAR asked the referee to review the replay. When he did, he sent Kaká off. Despite both players claiming it was a joke. Yeah, that ref definitely never grew up with friends. And still on the matter of jokes, it might not be a good idea to prank a ref mid-game. After the referee blew the full-time whistle, Murat Cem wandered up to the referee with the sweetest smile, only to do this. Damn, bro pulled the oldest playground prank in the book. Unfortunately for him, the ref was in no mood to let that disrespect slide. But if a referee can't handle a prank without reaching for his pocket, I really don't blame the next one for losing it over something far simpler. In a league match between Lyon and Angers, Marcelo committed a silly foul at the edge of his penalty box. But just when he thought he got away with one, this happened.
Qui va faire la solution, non, saut qui vient en renfort, il est accroché après son crochet, Baptiste Santa Maria, carton pour Marcelo. Oui, logique, il a...
This is so funny, he was clearly trying to wave in frustration, but since the referee was a snowflake, it became an embarrassing red card. But at least that referee was paying attention. The next one couldn't even count. This one happened in the World Cup match between Croatia and Australia. Croatia's Simunic picked up his first yellow for a silly tackle. And after another foul, he got his second yellow. Now, normally 2 yellows equal a red. However, this referee wasn't counting. But instead of keeping his head down, Simunic decided to pick a fight with the referee over another decision. So the ref gave him a 3rd yellow card. Yes, a 3rd. And only then did he finally send him off. It's safe to say this ref didn't pass his math exam, just like the next referee who failed to see properly.
To make a decision here. Veltman presenting his side.
During a match between Arsenal and Brighton, Joel Veltman mistook Rice for a ball and put his laces through him.
Oh dear, well, Veltman.
But instead of getting a red card for violent conduct, Declan Rice was given a 2nd yellow for delaying a restart. Well, I guess football has now turned into kickboxing. But while Declan Rice got punished for someone else's tackle, the next player only had himself to blame for what happened. With his team being trashed 4-1 by Tottenham, a frustrated Mohamed Kudus was just dropping bodies when the Spurs tried to provoke him.
He's just had a kick it in there, Kudus, and Van der Ven's not happy. Oh, here we go. Richarlison's down, Van der Ven's down. Kudus looks like he's lost his rag out there. So he's going to wipe the yellow off, so that means he's going to send.
But with VAR in place, he got one of the most deserved red cards you'll ever see.
There's no alternative. Eventually,
And if frustration can make a player drop bodies in the middle of a Premier League game, what exactly should a player do when a ref is the one messing things up? Well, in the Turkish league, a guy named Dursun decided to eliminate the problem once and for all. Hold up one second. Doesn't the red card apply to everyone, including the ref? Tell me what you think in the comments section. But at least Dursun only had one offense on his sheet. The next player somehow committed two in a single passage of play. During a match between Arsenal and Wolves, Gabriel Martinelli shoved a defender, chased a second guy, and shoved him in the back. But what makes this crazy is the fact that the referee booked him for two separate incidents in one play.
Took it and then was knocked over, and now Martinelli's foul for Coutinho. That's going to be a yellow card for Gabriel Martinelli. It's not an easy one. He sent him off.
Never in my life have I seen anything like this. It feels like the referee was just in the mood to send someone off. And speaking of send-offs, our next two characters gave the fans the most fitting ending to a London derby. In a match between Chelsea and Tottenham, Thomas Tuchel and Antonio Conte clashed severely because the referee made so many errors. So after the entertaining game ended in a 2-2 draw, the managers decided to thrill the fans one more time.
Here comes, it's headed in for 2-2. Deep into stoppage time, Chelsea couldn't.
And it's finished.
Damn, these guys might actually make it as arm wrestlers. But since managers have now turned into brawlers, I really can't blame the next ref for taking out his frustrations on a player. Keeping up with the speed of Kylian Mbappe is a handful for any defender, let alone a referee. So while this ref was trying to catch up to PSG's attack, he collided with Diego Carlos, which drew a rather shocking reaction. Damn, who knew refs could beef like players? To make matters worse, he stood up, gave Carlos a red card, and went about his business as if nothing had happened. But an investigation afterwards showed that Carlos pushed the ref by mistake, and he had no right to kick at him or send him off. Karma struck almost immediately as the referee was banned for 6 months. And with that, we're entering our top 20, where the red cards stop being silly and start being downright criminal. I'm talking about a Juventus star spitting straight into his opponent's mouth, Brazil's greatest female footballer launching into a tackle that wouldn't look out of place inside a WWE ring, and an entire stadium-wide brawl between two national teams that the referee couldn't even keep up with. But before we get to those, a Monaco defender is about to try out a wrestling move that he learned on holiday. During a match between Monaco and Lyon, Mamadou Koulibaly decided to try out the wrestling move he had learned while on holiday in Mexico.
L'énorme faute, je sais qu'il l'a pas vu, mais c'est trop dangereux pour ne pas récolter un carton rouge. Qu'est-ce que c'est dangereux quoi.
As impressive as that was, the referee had no option but to send him home to reconsider his life's choices. But at least Koulibaly is a defender. The next player is one of the greatest women's footballers of all time, and she still made a tackle that genuinely belongs in WWE.
Because it is dangerous play, but...
In a group stage match between Brazil and Spain at the 2024 Olympics, the Brazilians desperately needed to win, but were being pushed back by their Spanish opponents.
Cross comes in, the chance.
With halftime fast approaching, Brazil's captain and talisman, Marta, flew into one of the nastiest tackles you'll ever see. Watching that replay again, damn, he might have a career in the WWE. If Marta could do that to a leg, just imagine what the next player does to an opponent's face. 30 minutes into the match between Sporting Kansas City and FC Cincinnati, Alan Pulido wasn't happy with the slap he received from Mosquera, but instead of rolling on the floor as all footballers do, he did this.
Is fouled by Alan Pulido. Oh, Pulido. And Pulido with some afters right in front of the referee, who goes to the back pocket, and Alan Pulido gets a straight red card.
That is one of the nastiest headbutts I've ever seen. Phew, I can't even feel my mouth. That's how crazy looking that was. Still, I'd rather take a Pulido headbutt straight to the chin than get caught in the middle of what comes next. The rivalry between the US and Mexican national teams is hardly surprising. I mean, it's basically neighbors fighting for bragging rights. Typically, games between the pair are always intense, but on this day, there was a bit of extra tension in the air. With the USA leading and outplaying Mexico in the CONCACAF Nations League semifinal, Mexico's Montes had had enough of the humiliation and decided to vent his frustrations on Balogun.
Quite the physical effort, and this is bubbled over. Montes shown red. A straight red card. And this has gotten totally out of hand. McKenny's shirt ripped off in the aftermath.
This immediately sparked a massive brawl between both sets of players. It was so chaotic that the referee didn't even know who to book. But while that group lost their minds over national pride, the next player pulled off something no outfield player should ever do. With the Bournemouth goalkeeper off his line, the Norwich striker thought he was about to score a goal. But Lewis Cook pulled off an incredible fingertip save to deny him.
Campbell plays the ball forward. Cook, you might get there for the goalkeeper. No, Ramsdale does well to smother it. The loose ball's fallen for Dina. Oh, he's in the post. But was the handball by Bournemouth player?
Wow, just when you thought you'd seen it all. To be fair, that was an amazing save. Bro should consider being a goalkeeper at this point. Speaking of outfield players doing the goalkeeper's job a little too well, after making a horrible mistake to give Chelsea a counterattack, James Ward-Prowse decided to salvage things by taking matters into his own hands.
Moreno goes backwards to Ward-Prowse, who takes his eye off it, loses it, oh, it's going to go off. Oh, it's off. Ward-Prowse has been booked, and he's dragged the ball back with his hand.
While this might look silly, this save helped his team hold on to a 1-1 draw with Chelsea that day. But Ward-Prowse's offense at least helped his team. The next player did something so vile, it had absolutely nothing to do with football itself. During a match between Juventus and Sassuolo, Juve winger Douglas Costa elbowed Sassuolo's Francesco after what seemed to be a strong tackle. As the two players squared up to each other, the referee quickly stepped in, but Costa was still out for blood. So when it seemed they were talking things over, Costa did the unthinkable by spitting in his opponent's mouth.
Douglas Costa was sent off a straight red.
That is the most disgusting thing I've seen a footballer do to his opponent. But at least he's the villain of his own story, unlike the player who got punished for someone else's crimes. In Arsene Wenger's 1000th game as manager, he went up against Chelsea at Stamford Bridge. The match started very badly for his boys as they conceded inside the first 5 minutes.
Onside here. Samuel Eto'o!
Not long after, they conceded the second goal. But just as Hazard was about to add a third, this happened.
And here's Fernando Torres. And he's teed up Hazard! Oh, it was almost...
I thought Costa was crazy, but my word, Oxlade-Chamberlain might have outdone him there. However, what happened next will have you rolling on the floor. The referee brought out a red card, but instead of giving it to Chamberlain, he gave it to Gibbs. When Chamberlain tried to tell him he was the culprit, the referee wasn't buying it. That referee needs some glasses, but looking at their pictures together, you understand why he was confused. However, this wasn't the only time Arsenal were involved in a shocking controversy. With over 90,000 fans jumping and screaming in the Camp Nou, Arsenal were on a mission to pull off a major upset against Barcelona. When the game was level at 1-1, Van Persie was flagged offside after receiving a pass from his teammate. 1 second after the ref blew the whistle, Van Persie shot the ball towards the Barcelona goal. The referee saw this, gave him a second yellow, and sent him off the pitch.
Fabregas. Persie is off. It's the second yellow card for Robin Van Persie for kicking the ball away. So another twist to the drama.
What just happened? Van Persie couldn't believe it. Like, how is this offense worth a red card?
In my opinion, it was a total joke, the sending off, because how can I hear his whistle with 95,000 people jumping up?
1 second between the referee whistling and you striking the ball.
But this way, 1 second from his whistle till my shot is just a joke.
Despite telling the ref that the noise made him not hear the whistle, the ref stood by his decision and asked him to leave the pitch. With the extra man advantage, Barcelona scored 2 more goals and made this one of the most controversial bookings in the history of the Champions League. But if Van Persie was a victim of Barcelona's home advantage, I really can't blame Inter for what they did to stop Barca from getting away with another robbery. Back in the era when Barcelona were in bed with the referees, they came into the second match against Inter knowing they needed to win at all costs. So when Mota stretched his hand to block off Busquets, the Barcelona player dramatically tumbled to the ground. Now look closely at how he peeked to see if the referee had bought his lies. He rushed to the scene and gave Mota a red card without hesitation. But despite this blatant corruption, Inter held on to famously knock Barcelona out of the Champions League.
Inter Milan will go to Madrid, and Jose Mourinho's moment has come again. A special success for the special one. Victory over the reigning champions, whose anthem.
And with that, we've finally made it to our top 10. So fasten your seatbelts because these are the red cards that defined entire careers. I'm talking about one single match that somehow produced 23 red cards, and a deliberate red card that genuinely won its culprit the Man of the Match award. Before we get to those, however, we have to see one of the most controversial VAR decisions you'll ever witness. It happened in the Serie A when Juventus faced Salernitana. The match was end-to-end with both teams scoring 2 goals each.
Again, Kostic, great ball in!
Then, in the dying seconds of the game, Milik scored the winner.
It's now on near the Cuadrado's corner, and it's in from Milik!
Or so he thought. First, Milik was already on a yellow card, and by taking off his shirt to celebrate, he received a second yellow and an immediate red card. Amidst the chaos, VAR started checking the goal for a possible offside. The thing is, Milik was onside, but it wasn't him they were checking, it was Bonucci. Despite not touching the ball, VAR deemed he was interfering with play, and since the lines showed he was offside, they brutally disallowed the goal. Damn, I cannot imagine how Milik must have felt. The same way I don't understand why the next player did what he did. In the last minute of the match between Freiburg and Frankfurt, a frustrated David Abram ran towards the Freiburg coach and knocked him straight to the ground.
Still we wait for the final whistle. Oh dear me. Well, that is unnecessary. And David Abraham is doing himself no favours here whatsoever, but these are not the types of things
This
that we
drew
want to see
a furious response from the Freiburg bench, and I must say he was lucky to escape the situation alive. But if a player will attack a coach like that, you have to wonder what would happen when teammates turn on each other. During a match between Honved and Bichi, Honved player Leandro Martinez won a penalty and was keen on taking it. But his teammate Davide Lanzafame argued that he should take the penalty despite already having a yellow card. Tired of their foolishness, the referee gave both players yellow cards. By doing so, he had to send off Lanzafame for his second yellow offense. But even after being sent off, he still wanted to attack his teammate. In my years of watching football, this is the most selfish thing I've seen a footballer do on the football field. This reminds me of what Roma's own captain did to one of football's most annoying personalities. This happened in the 2010 Coppa Italia final between Inter and Roma. Inter were winning the game, and Mario Balotelli was doing his best to hold on to the ball. Unfortunately for him, Totti had had enough of his antics and did this.
Balotelli contro 3, va giù, punizione. Sì, perché la squadra era in svantaggio. Totti insegue Balotelli, Balotelli va via, rimpallo e arriva questo calcione bruttissimo.
When asked why he did that, Totti said Balotelli insulted him and the Roma fans, which is quite frankly something Balotelli can do. And if losing your head over Balotelli is somehow justified, you'll definitely get behind the next brutal tackle. During the final between Real Madrid and Atletico, Alvaro Morata was put clean through on goal with just 6 minutes left. Valverde saw the damage that was about to happen and did this.
De l'Atlético, c'est justement ce genre d'action peut-être pour aller jusqu'au bout. Quelle faute! Ouais, ça va être le carton rouge, bien là qui vient ensuite le chauffer un petit peu, le chambrer. Ça ne sert à rien.
Amidst the chaos that followed, one surprisingly calm person was Diego Simeone. The coach slapped the back of Valverde's head as if to say, "I would have done that too." Madrid went on to win the trophy, and Valverde was given the Man of the Match award. But if Valverde got Man of the Match for a red card, I really can't blame the next goalkeeper for going completely off the rails when a tackle didn't go his way. During a match between Cruzeiro and Atlético Mineiro, Everson caught the ball clean, but wasn't happy about the tackle that came with it. So naturally, he decided to try out his jiu-jitsu skills on his opponent.
Correndo pro meio, é pra ele, pro 10 do Cruzeiro, entra na área, bateu, a bola desvia, Everson pegou! Segura o Everson! E depois se estranha com o Christian, bate boca, sobe em cima do...
This immediately triggered an all-out brawl. There were flying kicks, punches, and players sprinting and kicking from every direction.
O Cássio também fica irritado. Podia terminar assim, hein? Não podia terminar assim.
Even the WWE Royal Rumble looked organized compared to this. The referee had to give out 23 red cards. Even the mailman doesn't share this many cards on Christmas Day. Still, this was 22 men. The next guy was a one-man wrecking ball who attacked multiple players completely on his own. On the 21st of April 2009, Real Madrid came into the game against Getafe knowing only a win would keep their title hopes alive. However, the game didn't go according to plan, and Madrid were losing 2-1 with 10 minutes left on the clock. But after Guti had scored a free kick in the 86th minute to salvage a draw, Casquero winning a penalty lit all the fuses in Pepe's brain.
On a goal-scoring opportunity, this is Casquero on the chance to score. He's brought down for a kick. Pepe has lost the plot here. What was doing there?
Well, justice, football justice in Spain is a joke. So, You appeal, and if they get something out of it, great. Plus, backing the player.
I understand when you're frustrated by a dive, but damn, there was no need to hit other players. Amazingly, Casquero missed the penalty, and Madrid went on to win the game 3-2. Pepe, on the other hand, received a 10-match ban and claimed he was depressed and devastated after the incident, not like anyone believed him. But the next offense on this list is a calculated, ice-cold decision that stopped history from being made. In the 120th minute, Ghana got the chance to become the first African team to reach the semi-finals of the World Cup. But just as the ball was about to go in, Luis Suarez did this. Damn, bro turned into a goalkeeper to deny Ghana a piece of history, and then celebrated when they missed the penalty. No wonder he became one of the most hated footballers of all time. When asked about the handball, he had this to say.
I don't apologize about that because the Ghana player missed a penalty, not me. It's not my fault because I don't miss the penalty.
This guy really is a supervillain. But as crazy as this is, it is nothing compared to what comes next. In 1995, Cantona had just been sent off against Crystal Palace and was heading towards the tunnel when a Palace fan decided it was the perfect time to run his mouth. Unfortunately for him, Cantona is the last footballer you want to mess with.
Received a red card.
When the seagulls follow the trawler, it's because they think sardines will be thrown into the sea. Thank you.
And now it's time for the moment we've all been waiting for, the craziest red card in football history. The 2006 World Cup final was one of the most highly anticipated football matches in history. Two great teams, France and Italy, came face to face for the ultimate prize. As the match started, Zidane gave France the lead by a penalty. But just a few minutes later, Italy equalized via a header from Marco Materazzi. With the game heading for a penalty shootout, Zidane walked past Materazzi, and then this happened.
He's just headed Materazzi in the middle of the chest. What was Zidane thinking of?
It was poetic that the two goal scorers in the game were involved in this controversy. But many wondered what made Zidane react that way in the last big match of his career. A few months later, Zidane revealed that Materazzi spoke badly about his sister, so he had no option but to defend her honor.
Vous l'écoutez une fois, vous essayez de partir, c'est ce que je fais. C'est les mots, comme je vous dis, qui me touchent au plus profond.
Vous pouvez les redire ou ce qui a été dit?
Avec la maman, la sœur, c'est des mots très durs, quoi. Donc vous l'écoutez une fois, vous essayez de partir, c'est ce que je fais.
Pas parce qu'il n'a pas vu la faute que vous avez commise. Hein. Les juges de touche non plus, c'est le quatrième arbitre qui lui a signalé. Bon, là, il y a polémique. Est-ce qu'il a utilisé ou pas la vidéo qui n'est pas faite pour ça dans les rencontres?
But you see, as wild as these red cards were, they're nothing compared to what happens when players forget there's a rule book and start launching themselves into tackles that belong in an MMA octagon. Click on the next video to see the most dangerous fouls in football history. And first, the time an old man disrespected Cristiano Ronaldo. The build-up to this Champions League clash between Atletico Madrid and Juventus was personal because of Cristiano Ronaldo, a guy who'd been tormenting Atleti for years. So when Atleti took a 2-0 lead in the first leg, their coach completely lost the plot and celebrated like this.
Jimenez through the crowd. Nico now
to the floor. Griezmann in it, got a flick. Oh, and it's turned in by Godin! Slammed in, and Atletico now do have their lead.
Oh my God. When asked why, he said his boys had balls. Sure, but little did he know that Ronaldo was watching this and taking notes. 26 minutes into the second leg, Ronaldo headed one in.
In from Bernardeschi. Ronaldo! Doing what Ronaldo does.
In the second half, he scored again.
Lifted in towards Ronaldo. What a save. And the referee's given it.
And in the 85th minute, he scored a penalty to complete his hat-trick and a comeback.
And put Juve in front. Is it ever in doubt? The man of the moment, yet again, with another special ice-cold moment.
So when the final whistle blew, you already knew what was coming. Bro hit him with his own celebration. You could feel the satisfaction radiating off Ronaldo. That's the energy of someone who waited 2 weeks for this exact moment. But you know what stings even more than that? Getting ragdolled in front of an entire stadium. During a match between Cruzeiro and Atlético Mineiro, Everson caught the ball clean, but wasn't happy about the tackle that came with it. So naturally, he decided to try out his jiu-jitsu skills on his opponent.
É pra ele, pro 10 do Cruzeiro, entra na área, bateu, a bola desvia. Everson pegou! Segura o Everson, que depois se estranha com Christian, bate boca, sobe.
This immediately triggered an all-out brawl. They were flying kicks, punches, and players sprinting and kicking from every direction.
Cássio também fica irritado. O Lian podia terminar assim, hein? Não podia terminar assim.
Even the WWE Royal Rumble looked organized compared to this. The referee had to give out 23 red cards. Even the mailman doesn't share these man cards on Christmas Day. But while a brawl is wild, what happened next almost tore African football apart. It all started when Senegal were denied what looked like a perfectly good goal because of this foul on Hakimi.
Sek with a header, and it was eventually deflected in by, I think, Ismaila Sarr.
Already fuming, the Senegalese couldn't believe it when the ref signaled a VAR check for a Morocco penalty.
Swung over by Hakimi. Alex Juve with a header out. Salahin.
Chaos erupted everywhere. The benches were going at it. Fans scrapping in the stands. You could feel that whatever came next was gonna blow the lid off this thing. As the ref walked back onto the pitch, the tension was suffocating. Even through a screen, you could feel the weight of that moment. And when he pointed to the penalty spot, that's when it all fell apart.
Penalty. With only seconds to go.
Senegal's coach told his players to leave the pitch. He believed the whole thing was a ploy to hand Morocco the win.
Wow, the manager's saying his players are going off the pitch. No. Senegal fans are pitch invading.
For 20 minutes, it was pure chaos. Riot police in the stands, Moroccans waiting on the pitch, the Senegalese already in the dressing room, and the whole of Africa watching a dark moment in its football history. But while the Senegalese had every right to protest, leaving the field was disrespectful to everyone involved, from the fans, the Moroccan players, the officials, and the game itself. But at least nobody got physically hurt here. Can't say the same for our next one. After going down with a season-ending injury, Gabriel Martinelli decided the best course of action was to smack Connor Bradley with the ball and then push him off the pitch.
Martinelli chases Bradley. Bradley's hurt himself in clearing that away. So frustrated that they're prevented from taking the quick throw in. Bradley, who was sort of on the line.
You know, as you do when a player is faking an injury. Except this was real.
Someone who has had injuries, got those hands over his face, and I'm actually fuming with Martinelli.
Bro, the man was in pain. Read the room. At least Martinelli apologized after, which is more than I can say for our next guy, who decided to run his mouth on social media. After Manchester United beat Arsenal thanks to a Mateus Cunha wonder goal, Amad Diallo hopped on Twitter to call out Arsenal as a team that lives and dies by corner kicks. This sent the entire Arsenal fan base into meltdown. But here's the beautiful, beautiful part. Since that tweet, Amad hasn't scored or assisted a single goal. The football gods really have a sense of humor. But even being a keypad warrior wasn't good enough for our top 30, because there's no way a reckless tweet compares to what Messi did to Boateng at number 20. And wait till you see what Haaland did to the entire Arsenal team at number 15. But before we get there, some players were turning the penalty spot into their personal stage. Look, scoring penalties shouldn't be a big deal. You can ask CR7, the man does it in his sleep. But for whatever reason, these lot turned it into a whole Broadway performance. Imagine pulling this off at Stamford Bridge. The brawl you saw earlier would have looked like a bunch of kids playing. Speaking of which, you won't believe what Pepe did at number 29. During the Pep versus Mourinho era, matches between Real Madrid and Barcelona were basically legalized assault. Both sets of players played like they wanted to end each other's careers. During one of those games, Messi was fouled by a Real Madrid player. After going down, Pepe came close to him, and suddenly, Messi started screaming in pain. At first, it didn't seem serious, but when the replay dropped, nah, that was nasty. And after all that, Pepe still had the nerve to pretend he was innocent. Bro, we all saw the replay. But if you think that's bad, wait till you see what Neymar started. During a match between Athletic Bilbao and Barcelona, the Catalans were cruising 3-1 with just 4 minutes left. So when Neymar tried rainbow flicking the ball over his opponent, you'd think they'd just let it go. Nah, it turned into a full-on brawl.
Here I come. Oh, here I come. Oh.
I don't get it. If a player is skillful enough to do that to you, just take the L and move on. But getting embarrassed on the pitch is one thing. Getting humiliated at Old Trafford? That hits different. During a Premier League match between Manchester United and Liverpool, the Red Devils were already 3-0 down with seconds till halftime. Already embarrassing. So Ronaldo, frustrated out of his mind, tried winning the ball from Curtis Jones, only for this to happen.
Ronaldo wins it foolishly and had a kick. He had a kick. Initially a foul, that in itself perhaps worthy of yellow. But the second action from Cristiano Ronaldo is initially a foul, that in itself perhaps worthy of yellow. But the second action from Cristiano Ronaldo is open to interpretation.
Yikes! That's the kind of moment that tells you someone is washed. But while Ronaldo was kicking his frustrations away, one goalkeeper was about to get absolutely violated. Scottish attacker Chris Maguire stepped up to take a penalty for Oxford against Ben Alnwick. Now pay attention, because as Maguire was placing the ball, Alnwick pointed to his right-hand side, basically telling him exactly where to put it. But Maguire smashed it to the keeper's left, and his celebration? let's just say it completely violated the man. That's what you get for trying to play mind games with the wrong guy. But if you think that was disrespectful, wait till you see what Messi did to James Milner. During a match between Man City and Barcelona, an energetic Milner rushed in to try and win the ball from Messi, and
Still plenty to go. Plenty to enjoy and marvel at, in truth. During his bad time last year, suggestions
that has to be the nastiest nutmeg in football history. Even Pep Guardiola had to look away. When your own manager is cringing for you, it's over. But while Milner got done dirty, Chiellini made sure nobody was getting past him. During the Euro 2020 final between England and Italy, the Three Lions rushed into an early lead.
Trippier who'll cross, and it's Luke Shaw!
The Italians equalized in the 67th minute.
Away from Stone space, it's flicked across. This is a problem, and it is in. Italy on level, and it is Bonucci.
With normal time approaching its end, Saka thought he'd beaten Chiellini, only for this to happen.
Saka. I don't think you can do that.
I shouldn't be laughing, but he pulled him back like a parent grabbing a toddler running toward the road. But while Chiellini's tackle was hilarious, there was nothing funny about what happened next.
This player has bad manners, and this is the reason why he has bad manners. Alex Iwobi and Amaringo.
During the match between Arsenal and Hen, Iwobi and Traore got into an argument, but as soon as Traore opened his mouth, this happened.
Stadium.
Damn, in front of thousands of people. That's the kind of moment that replays in your head at 3 a.m. for the rest of your life.
No. Wait.
But speaking of things that haunt you, imagine getting betrayed by your own teammate. After the opposition almost scored, the goalkeeper was fuming at his teammates' defending. Things escalated, lots of shoving, but then the goalkeeper collapsed like a deck of cards. And his own teammate got a red card for it. Doing that against your own teammate? This guy's got a room temperature IQ. But even this looks rational compared to what Douglas Costa did. During a match between Juventus and Sassuolo, Costa elbowed Francesco after a strong tackle. They squared up, the ref stepped in, and it seemed like cooler heads would prevail. But Costa said F cool heads and spat directly in his opponent's mouth. That is the most disgusting thing I've ever seen on a football match. The elbowing was bad, but the spitting? That's a different level of nasty. But even this madness couldn't crack our top 20, because still to come is Di Maria ending Puyol's career, and Wamangituka scoring the most disrespectful goal in history. Before we get to those, however, we have to see the time Messi turned a Champions League defender into a meme. In a match between Bayern Munich and Barcelona, the Bavarians hoped to pull off an upset to reach the 2015 Champions League final. Unfortunately for them, Messi, Suarez, and Neymar were at their peak. So with 13 minutes left, Messi decided he'd had enough and did this.
Deserved that goal scorer. And here he is again. That's astonishing. It's absolutely world class.
The most humiliating dribble I've ever seen. Boateng went down like his ankles filed for divorce and got full custody. And you know what's really sad? Despite everything he achieved in his career, this is the moment fans remember. One move and your entire legacy gets rewritten. But few things in football get more intense than neighbors fighting for bragging rights. The rivalry between the US and Mexico is hardly surprising. Games between them are always intense. But on this day, there was extra tension. With the USA leading in the CONCACAF Nations League semifinal, Mexico's Montes had enough and took his frustrations out on Balogun. This immediately sparked a massive brawl between both sets of players.
And this is bubbled over. Montes shown red. A straight red card. And this has gotten totally out of hand. McKennie's shirt ripped off in the aftermath as he kisses the crest.
It was so chaotic that the referee didn't even know who to book. But while that brawl was ugly, what some Chelsea players did to themselves is a different kind of disrespect entirely. During a match between Chelsea and Everton, Cole Palmer had already bagged a first-half hat-trick. So when Chelsea got a penalty in the second half, you'd think he'd have someone else have a turn, right? But when Nicholas Jackson picked the ball up to take it, this happened.
Got caught, got heavily caught first of all. Madueke's desperate to take this, Argumi Jackson.
The APP, the offside has been checked. And had a look at it as to who will take this. Nicholas Jackson.
You're 4-0 up and you're arguing between yourselves. What is going on here?
Madueke storms off in a huff. Nicholas Jackson likewise.
Ice cold. The man already had 3 goals and still snatched the ball like sharing isn't a concept he's familiar with. That's the energy of someone who orders food for the table and eats it all himself. But as shameful as this was, at least Palmer was ballin'. Can't say the same about our next guy. During a match between Man City and Bolton, striker Carlos Tevez threw a fit about being substituted.
Checks his head. Oh, and he's had a word with Mancini there. Has Tevez. And there doesn't seem to be too much love.
So as punishment, the coach benched him for the next game against Bayern. With City losing 2-0, Aguero got injured and Tevez was asked to warm up. But the Argentine flat out refused to come on. Your team is losing, they need you, and you just say no? The look on Mancini's face said it all. When asked why Tevez didn't play, the coach said this.
So what happened? Why didn't you bring...
What happened that he refused to go in?
He refused to come onto the pitch?
He refused to come on the pitch. Yeah.
Man, you have to feel for Mancini there. He didn't deserve that. But while Mancini got disrespected by his own player, one random defender had the nerve to disrespect 3 of the greatest footballers on the planet. In the 2022 World Cup, Saudi Arabia defender Al-Boulayi decided to taunt Tottenham's Son. Being the nice guy he is, Son just carried on. He did the same thing to Lionel Messi, who just stood there wondering who on earth this man was.
Al-Boulayi slapped Lionel Messi on the back and told him, "You will not win."
But then he tried the same thing with Cristiano Ronaldo. And this happened. Look, I don't support violence, but when you taunt Son and he ignores you, taunt Messi and he doesn't care, and then you try the same thing with Ronaldo, what did you think was gonna happen? Some people really gotta learn the hard way. Speaking of which, wait till you see how Haaland handled his grudge match. In the 2024 Premier League clash between Man City and Arsenal, Haaland scored early, only for Arsenal to respond with 2.
Into the penalty area. Calafiori shoots. Oh, what a goal! It comes in. It's a really good one. It's in! Gabriel's got his head to it, and Arsenal have taken the lead.
But seconds before halftime, a controversial red card flipped the game.
It's a foul by Trump. He's been sent off to it.
After halftime, Arsenal sat deep, frustrating every City attack. But with the last kick of the game, Man City equalized. While trying to mock Gabriel, Haaland threw the ball at the back of his head.
It's opened up here. Shot block must be. It's in. John Stones goes away and
As soon as the restart was blown, he charged straight into parquet. Then, after the final whistle, he got into it with the Arsenal manager too. Bro was on a one-man mission to annoy every Arsenal player on the pitch. But karma is undefeated because when the teams met again, Arsenal's Miles Lewis-Skelly scored to make it 3-1 and recreated Haaland's celebration right in his face. You could feel the joy of every Arsenal fan on the planet in that moment. You love to see it. But the guy at number 14 took pettiness to a level I didn't think was possible. During a match between Werder Bremen and Stuttgart, a lapse in concentration gifted Wamangituka a completely free run at goal. But instead of placing the ball in the net like a normal human being, he decided to do this.
Only 3 minutes of time added on, and now Wamangituka to seal the deal for Stuttgart. It's an absolute gift. And Wamangituka's been booked.
I think this is all about sportsmanship.
For a second, I thought he was gonna bend down and head it in. That would have been legendary, but nah, bro just stood there, ball at his feet, staring at the keeper while the entire opposition watched helplessly. This man treated a Bundesliga match like he was playing against his little cousin on FIFA. And speaking of treating people like they don't exist, what Di Maria did to Puyol belongs in a museum. During a match between Real Madrid and Barcelona, Di Maria turned Puyol inside and out like a fresh apple pie. All that was left was to take a bite. A sorry sight for anyone who remembers how tough Puyol was at his peak. He never recovered and subsequently retired. But if you think getting dribbled past is bad, wait till you see this. During a match between Hamburg and Darmstadt, Aaron powered his way past the first defender. But as he was about to beat the second one, this happened.
Königsdörfer, der ist der schnellste gewesen, Durchgang und auf die rote Karte gegen Opoku, der sich da, so hat der Schiedsrichter...
I mean, there are better ways to ask for someone's shorts. A polite DM after the game would have been fine. But nah, bro went full caveman. That's just disrespectful. But while losing your shorts is embarrassing, losing the love of fans you gave everything to, that cuts way deeper. On his journey to the top, Ollie Watkins spent 3 years at Brentford, scored goals, made memories with the fans. Or so we thought. In 2020, he moved to Aston Villa. So when he visited Brentford with his new team, he probably expected a warm welcome. However, the fans kept insulting and booing him. So when he scored against Brentford, he decided to point at the fans and mock them right back.
As they go for the win, little flick onto the far post and it's in. And Ollie Watkins scores against his former club. And Villa have the lead. And the goal celebrations didn't help calm things down.
I don't see why this turned into a fight. The fans should be able to take what they dish out. But now that we've made it to our top 10, it's time to take things to a whole new level, like the time Vardy silenced the entire Tottenham stadium, and what Mourinho said about his own player at number 7. But before we get to those, we have to see a celebration so premature it became one of the greatest karma moments ever caught on camera. Having lost the first leg 2-0, Sweden needed a miracle to advance in the second leg of their Euro 2015 qualifier. As the game began, Sweden rushed into a 3-0 lead, and suddenly, that miracle looked real. With 3 minutes left, Francis Kurzawa scored an away goal, killing the comeback dead. But he didn't stop there. He ran to celebrate in front of the Swedish players with an aggressive salute. Brave, very, very brave. But the scriptwriters weren't done with this story. Sweden scored a fourth, and the boys just had to return the favor. You can't even feel bad for him. That's what happens when you celebrate before the final whistle. Football karma has zero mercy. But while Kurzawa got humbled on the international stage, Vardy humbled an entire fan base with one gesture. In their opening match of the 2024-2025 season, Leicester came under massive pressure from Spurs. The pressure paid off as Spurs took the lead via Pedro Porro.
Son, James Maddison collects with options in the middle, and there's the flick, and there's the goal.
At halftime, Leicester brought on their talisman, Vardy, to change things. His presence caused problems as he kept running in behind. Eventually, he scored to draw Leicester level. While celebrating, the Spurs fans started booing him. Oh, big mistake. Huge mistake.
Across from, away from Reed. Tawu.
Well, one chance, one goal for the legend of Leicester. They've been under the cop.
In response, Vardy pointed to the Premier League badge. No words, just a finger on the badge. I've got one of these. How many you lot got? Exactly. But while Vardy kept it classy, our next moment is the complete opposite. During a match between Galatasaray and Giresunspor, Marcao came out of absolutely nowhere to attack his own Galatasaray teammate. He headbutted him, and for a second, it looked like they were in the UFC. The referee gave him a deserved red card, and the Turkish FA handed him an 8-match ban. Bro chose violence against his own teammate for no reason. But while Marcao's attack was random, Mourinho's disrespect was calculated. In 2014, then Chelsea manager Jose Mourinho told the world he thought his own player, Samuel Eto'o, was lying about being 32.
De mieux en mieux, je dirais, quand même. Il est mieux qu'au début, en tout cas. Non?
32 ans, peut-être 35, je ne sais pas.
Imagine your own boss going on live television and telling the world you're lying about your age. Then, as fate would have it, Eto'o scored Chelsea's opener against Tottenham. And his celebration? Chef's kiss. The old man's celebration. Iconic. Mourinho tried to embarrass him, and Eto'o turned it into one of the greatest clapbacks ever. But while Eto'o used humor, Messi's revenge was pure ice. After scoring an equalizer for the Netherlands, Weghorst got a bit too enthusiastic trying to win the ball from Messi.
Should be some finish to the match. Have set up here a potential grandstand finish with their
Messi wasn't happy and showed the ref his bruises.
Their first shot on target in the game.
So after Argentina won on penalties, Weghorst waited in the dressing room to apologize. But the little man wasn't having it. He snubbed Weghorst's handshake, and when he noticed the striker was still waiting for him, he expressed his anger.
Quedaste un poco caliente por el final.
¿Qué mira, bobo? Anda para allá, bobo. Anda para allá.
Tranquilo, Leo.
My Spanish isn't fluent, but I'm sure he's not talking about cameras. And with that, we've made it to our top 5. Take a seat and get your popcorn ready because things are about to get explosive. We've got a 100-yard sprint of pure rage. And at number 3, something so disrespectful you won't believe it came out of a footballer's mouth. But first, we have to see a young footballer disrespecting tired old man. Heading into the 2012 Merseyside Derby, Everton coach David Moyes accused Luis Suarez of diving in their previous game to get Jack Rodwell sent off. Unhappy about this accusation, Suarez entered the match ready to make a point. Just 14 minutes in, he opened the scoring for Liverpool. And what he did next? Instantly iconic.
And he's pulled it across. Sterling went down, but it's fallen to Suarez anyway. And Luis Suarez strikes as Liverpool hit first in the Merseyside derby. Well, he must have taken a deflection. I don't think it's...
Bro scored and then swan dived right in front of the Everton manager. You could see it in his eyes. That wasn't just a celebration. That was a man who'd been waiting for this moment since the second Moyes opened his mouth. Beautiful. After the game, Moyes was asked about the celebration, and he said,
"What do you make of the Luis Suarez celebration, Chris?"
Thought it was great. Actually quite like that.
Fair play to him for seeing the funny side of things. But while Suarez's revenge was funny, Adebayor's revenge was fueled by years of pain. In 2009, Emmanuel Adebayor left Arsenal to sign for Man City in controversial circumstances. The fans felt he betrayed the club for money, so when he and his City teammates visited the Arsenal stadium, the fans kept hurling insults at the striker. But this wasn't just about football. When Adebayor played for Arsenal, he remembered the racist chants hurled at him by those same fans. That kind of pain doesn't fade. So when he rose highest to score a towering header, he just had to give them a taste of their own medicine.
Good advantage played again by Mark Clattenburg. Sean Wright Phillips, Adebayor! Well, that is the moment that he has dreamt about. And so too of Manchester City. An Emmanuel Adebayor goal against Arsenal. And he sets off to celebrate like never before.
That 100-yard sprint to celebrate in front of the Arsenal fans is iconic. You could feel every ounce of frustration, pain, and anger leave his body on that run. Years of abuse, and it all came pouring out in one knee slide. However, he was handed a 2-match ban and a £25,000 fine, worth every single penny in my books.
I think it's quite disgraceful. I mean, running over to the away fans.
You got your goal, you continued your 100% scoring record. Did you lose your head a bit afterwards?
I could have not do what I have done, but you know, it's like the emotional take over me. The frustration is out of me. You know, I'm very sorry for doing what I have done. I have done a big mistake today, and I think tomorrow this thing will never happen anymore.
But while Adebayor's disrespect was physical, what Podolski said cuts even deeper.
And you? Shut up. Now you are in the same place like me. Shut up!
During a Polish league match, Lukas Podolski and Eric Exposito got into a heated argument. But what the German said to him, just listen.
Hey, but you don't look that he kicked me. You don't look. You don't look he kicked me. You don't look. So wait, and shut up. Shut up. Shut up and wait. Shut up. And you, shut up. Now you are in the same place like me. Shut up! Come on! Bye!
Be humble! Be humble! Be humble!
Telling a man you'll buy his family? That's not trash talk, that's disrespect. You're telling someone their entire bloodline has a price tag. But while words can hurt, nothing tops slapping your opponent right before a penalty kick. It happened in a World Cup qualifier between Portugal and Ireland. The Irish got a shock lead just before halftime. Then went into a deep block to protect it like their lives depended on it. Unfortunately, they conceded a penalty. But just as Ronaldo was about to take the spot kick, this happened.
Check kicks it away, look.
What? There was contact with his shoulder from Ronaldo, as you saw.
I can't lie, that slap was hilarious. And the crazy part? It actually worked. Ronaldo missed the penalty.
Ronaldo, it's saved by Bazunu! What a
But you already know how this ends. With minutes left, Ronaldo did what he always does. Came up clutch for his country.
How difficult was it for you, considering that you missed that early penalty?
It's part of the game. It's part of the business. Sometimes you score, sometimes you mistake. It's part of the business. But I still believe to the end of the game. So I'm so glad to score and to winning the game.
And now it's time for our #1 most disrespectful moment in football history. Matches between Inter and AC Milan are like bitter sibling rivalries. They share the same stadium, but these two never see eye to eye. During the 2021 derby, Lukaku wasn't happy about a tackle from a Milan player, so when he went to confront him, all hell broke loose.
Che si arrabbia nei confronti dell'avversario, in particolare di Romagnoli, faccia a faccia, arriva che sia a spingere Lukaku, si accendono gli animi del derby.
Damn. Look, in football, you can get away with a lot. Insults, trash talk, even the occasional shove. But when you bring a man's mother into it, nah, that's not banter anymore. That's personal. And you could see it in Lukaku's eyes. That wasn't anger, that was rage. Pure, unfiltered rage. If those teammates hadn't held him back, we would have witnessed something way worse than a red card. But as shocking as these moments were, they're nothing compared to Benzema missing 2 penalties in one match, a keeper doing yoga routines, and Neymar inventing a penalty technique that FIFA had to ban permanently. Click the next video to watch the most humiliating penalties in history.